My main training and mindset is that of a physicist. So I tend to think of things in a very sort of kind of physics framework, because I think that's like the best framework for critical thinking and for evaluating technologies at a fundamental level. I mean, even when I was in college, it was very obvious to me that electric was the right path. Solar plus electric is an unbeatable combination at a first principles physics level for having the most efficient, sustainable system. I mean, to me, this is as obvious as day and night. If there was a readily available source of hydrogen that wasn't bound up in water or bound up in hydrocarbons, the possibility of a fuel cell vehicle. But a fuel cell vehicle relies on hydrogen. So the only way to get the hydrogen is to electrolyze water and split the hydrogen and oxygen apart, which is a very energy intensive and inefficient process. And then once you've split the hydrogen off, you've then got to compress it or render it to liquid form, which also takes a tremendous amount of energy. And then once it gets in the car, it then has to go through a fuel cell power plant to get turned into energy, and only then can that energy be applied to electric motors. So if you look at the total cycle efficiency of a fuel cell system, it is at least twice as bad. Its theoretical best case is twice as bad as electric in terms of the energy cycle. That's if the technology is perfect. Then the technology is not perfect, so it ends up being maybe 200 to 300% worse than a solar electric alternative. Because the solar electric alternative, it's dead simple, and the energy transfers are very high efficiency. Essentially collect power from the sun, or from hydro or whatever, and then you charge a battery pack, which with almost no energy losses, and that's it. You're done.
So for any given source of fuel, it's always, even if the whole world were always going to be powered by hydrocarbons, it would still make sense to do electric cars. But of course, we must find a sustainable means of generating energy as well. And I think that the most likely, or the main candidate for energy generation is actually solar. The Earth is actually almost entirely solar powered today as it is. What would be a frozen ice ball that's, 3 or 4 Kelvin, if it weren't for the sun. And our entire system of precipitation is powered by the sun. The ecosystem is almost entirely 99.999% powered by the sun, except for some chemotrophs at the bottom of the ocean. So that's it's rather obvious that I think once you try to take a little portion of that energy, and it's actually not much, and convert that into electricity for use by society. So solar power will be the single largest source of energy, or electrical energy, for humanity in the future, and it will be combined with other things, of course, such as hydropower and geothermal, and I actually think nuclear is not a terrible option, as long as you're not located in a place that's susceptible to natural disasters. That's also, I think, defies common sense. But so as long as there aren't huge earthquakes or sort of weather systems that have names coming at you, then I think nuclear can be a sensible option. And there are much safer and better ways of generating nuclear energy, I'm talking fission here, than existed in the past when nuclear reactors first came out. And then at some point in the future, it'd be nice to make fusion work, of course. That would be quite good. But in the meantime, I think indirect fusion, being solar power, is a good thing to do. And so that's what Solar City is doing. Is really trying to improve the economics of solar power, and they're doing a great job. I don't run the company, so the credit for Solar City really goes to the two key guys who run that company. But they're doing a great job really accelerating the adoption of solar power in the United States. Yeah, I actually think as long as the sun is shining, we'll be fine. That's going to, if humanity had to get all of its energy from the sun, it could do so. It's really a truly astounding amount of energy that comes at us from the sun. I mean, it's interesting that if you took the land area used by nuclear plants, including the stay-out zones and everything, and said, okay, what generates more power, the nuclear power plant or just covering it with solar panels? In most cases, it's solar panels. Just the area used by the nuclear power plant in solar panels will generate more energy because you actually have to have a big stay-out zone. You can't just put a nuclear power plant out in the suburbs and with a bunch of people around it. So you have to have this big clear zone. And so they use a lot of area. And but just to give you just a sense of how much power can come from the sun, this is literally true what I've just said.